Hey guys, welcome in. I hope you're doing well today. I'm Taffany and I'm here in my garden today because I am going to be doing some planting in pots. I'm going to be moving the arrangements in the urns in front of my vegetable garden to bigger pots that are near my back door and patio. And those bigger pots were the pots that I had during the winter in the vegetable garden. They originally are supposed to be here at my back door, but I put them out there because I didn't have any other bigger pots and I needed something to put my blueberry bushes in for now. Well, for that time. But what I'm going to do is take the blueberry bushes out of those pots, put them in ground in the vegetable garden, and I'm going to start my spring and summer arrangements in those pots today. And what else? I'm going to also plant some cucumbers. So let me kind of take you around the yard and orient you with what exactly it is I'm going to be doing. Okay, guys, so as I approach the vegetable garden, these two pots here, these urns, these are the arrangements that I am going to be pulling out. It has lantana and grasses, and I looked up what these grasses were, and now I am completely, empty in my head on the name. So I will have to try to get the name and I'll put it on the screen for you, but there are lantanas in here and these grasses, and there are 3 grasses in each pot. So I have enough of those to be able to work with my pots near the back door. And back here in the vegetable garden, I had a pot right there on that paver, and I had a pot over here on this paver, and they have been moved over there, which is where they were last season, if you saw last season's videos. What I want to do is get more of these pavers because they help with keeping the pots level, but I want to get pots that matched and go all around the vegetable garden. I want to put a pot there. We'll get a paver and pot for there, for this aisle, for this aisle, for that aisle, for that aisle, and then of course we already have that one there, so that would be a total of 7 pots, and that's 5 more pavers I need to get. So that is the plan, and I dug up weeds from this bed and turned the soil over. I just have to add bone meal and plant tone to it to get it ready, and we're going to put one of the blueberry bushes here. They are sunshine blue blueberry bushes. They grow 3 to 4 feet tall and wide, so they're small versions. So they will be just right there. This is a bigger version that grows about 5 to 6 feet tall, I remember, but I can't remember the name. I got it from Home Depot. But as you can see, it is a more mature one, and the ones that I got them off of Etsy, and they are babies, so they're not ready to produce yet. And the other area that I did a little work with the soil is right here. I'm going to leave that lettuce there for right now, and I'm going to go ahead and put the blueberry bush there, but I'll be pulling that lettuce up, and the blueberry bush will be growing in this section, or I may go ahead and pull them up because we've got plenty of lettuce right here. But yeah, I'll go ahead and pull them up and turn the soil over a little bit more further back there, and we'll add bone meal and plant tone to the soil, and we'll get the other blueberry bush here. So we'll have one there, there, and of course the one that's already in the ground there. And the pots that I moved are here. As you can see, here's one. They are self-watering pots, and we've got a little friend already visiting, and those are the little blueberry bushes, one right there and the other one here. You can see it. It's a little dark in this area. It's quite shaded over here. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing, working with those 2 bigger pots for right now. And these are the cucumbers. This one is called salad bush, and it is a low-growing cucumber. And this one is called cucumber Parisian. It's also a low-growing or shorter-growing cucumber, good for pots and containers. So I have found that when I go with shorter dwarf versions of vegetables, I get much better results than those that grow 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 feet tall. So I'm going to give those a try and see how they do. But yeah, guys, that is the plan for today. Move those. Oh, the other thing I am going to move, this lime tree. It is still in its pot. I kept it in its pot in the ground because it does get somewhere around 10 to 15 feet tall, and I don't want it to get that tall. I want to control its height, so I'm going to keep it in a pot. And this pot right here is where I believe I'm going to probably do that lime tree. And that way, I'll be able to move it into the garage or bring it into the house when the frost comes, because this is the second season I've had it. And last season was the first season, and it dies back and it comes back. But the issue is every time it does that, it's starting over. So it never gets to the point where it can actually produce fruit. So I want to try to keep it going without it having to die back, so we can start getting fruit from it, so it won't have to keep starting over, from a baby, so to speak. But that is my plan. And of course, we covered the orange tree and the lemon tree and that one. The lemon tree and the orange tree pretty much made it, with the orange doing the best, the Barbados doing the worst. And as you can see, it's got flowers all over it and bees all over it. So that is my plan for today. All right, so I've got my gloves out, I've got my plant tone, and I've got my bone meal. So we're going to prep those beds back there in the vegetable garden, and then we are going to get the blueberry bushes out, and then we'll work with the other items, the ones in the pots and the lime tree. So let's get started. So guys, I'm starting back here in this corner in the vegetable garden. I've already pulled weeds, as I said, and turned the soil over. So I'm adding some bone meal and plant tone to the ground. This is to just kind of refresh the soil that's there and add nutrients, although I typically use compost back here in the in-ground beds that over the last couple years. So they're in pretty good shape, but this just kind of helps to add a little bit of help to it. And we'll just kind of mix that in and plant the blueberry bush here. And that is basically all I'm going to do for this section and the one on the other side of the raised beds where I'll be planting the second blueberry bush. Basically, my goal back here is to try to decrease the amount of soil and compost and things that I'm having to buy by using additional nutrients to add to the soil, and just kind of refreshing what's there, and then just topping with a little bit of garden soil. So that's my plan this year. I'll see how it works, but we're gonna get this in ground. We'll get the blueberry bush in ground, and then we'll work on the pots and try to get that lime tree out of the ground. And this is the other corner where I'm going to be putting the second little blueberry bush. And again, these are sunshine blueberry bushes, so they will grow 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. So both are sitting right in front of sprinkler heads, so I shouldn't have to worry about watering. We'll see how they do there. But it now gives me 3 blueberry bushes so they can cross-pollinate and I can get more berries. That's the goal long term. And now here in this bed, I have the 4 okra in the corner. I'm going to put the cucumber in the middle. The okra are called jambalaya okra, and they're shorter growing okra. They don't grow as big and tall, 5 to 6 feet, as the other okra that I have typically been growing. So this is my first time trying it. I'm going to see how it works. But I have 2 kinds of cucumbers, as I showed you earlier. So we're gonna try these out. I have grown cucumbers before and they did really good. So this is a shorter variety I'm going to see if they do good, if they can tolerate the heat. That's the challenge here in the area that I live in. I'm in zone 9B in southeastern Texas, Spring, Texas, near Houston. So it gets pretty humid, not just hot, but pretty humid, really bad humidity to me. So we'll see how they do. All right, here comes the hard part, trying to get this pot out of the ground. So we're going to use the shovel to try and loosen the walls. This lime tree was inside of the pot of the lemon tree that I purchased. So it ended up having 2 trees inside of it, and I didn't even know it. I brought it home, planted it. It was in ground for about a week or more, and I'm like, what in the world is this? Why does it look so different, the leaves? But come to find out, it was a lime tree and had the tag and everything. So it's a Mexican lime. I'm gonna try to save it after losing those 2 branches there, repot it, and go from there. All right, guys, so I did get the lime tree out, but as you see, I lost both of the branches that tore off of this, and I couldn't get it from all of the way down deep in the pot. Not only that, I'm glad I didn't, in a way, because there's an ant colony in there. So I'm going to come back and deal with the ant colony, and I am going to go ahead and put this in the pot anyway, and I'm going to see if I get new branches from it. So we'll see what comes of it, but I don't see any ants on this part. It was just deeper down in the pot and down in the hole. So let's see what we get. Let's refresh the soil in this pot and try our best to grow us a lime tree from this. If not, I'll have to go find me a dwarf lime tree and put it in the pot. But we're gonna try to see if we can keep this one alive. So I've got it in the first pot. I broke the soil up to loosen it, tried to get down as far as I could. I added the enrichments, and then I got it into the soil, and I got the soil up to the level of the little nodule, which is what you typically want to do. You want to get the soil all of the way up to that point, so just the actual branches out of the soil. And now we're moving on to these pots here in front of the vegetable garden, and we're going to try to get these out and we'll separate out the grasses and the lantana, and we'll put them into pots. And I'll figure out what I want to do as I go along. I kind of have an idea, but usually I don't ever stick with my ideas. As I go along, I tend to think, oh, let me do this instead. So the first thing is going to be the hard part, trying to separate out the grasses and the lantana without destroying the roots. So let's do that, and then let's get all of these in the pots, and I'll come back and show you everything when I'm done. So I prepped the large pot with the intention of putting grass in there and then getting flowers to put around it, but I changed my mind. So it's prepped. I'm going to try to get a fruit tree for there, and I'm going to do that plan that I had for these two smaller pots. So each pot on the side of this large one will have the grasses with flowers around it, with a fruit tree in the larger pot. Oh, yeah, this is going to look good. I'm glad I made that decision. And, my husband and I had talked about getting some more fruit trees anyway. I'm going to try to get dwarf versions so I don't have anything growing too large, and they'll be perfect for pots. And then that way we can move them inside to the garage or the house if the weather gets, frost coming through, so we don't have to worry about losing things in the future. Now in this pot, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm not going to add grasses. I'm going to take one of the lantana from the pots that I went where you saw me separate the grasses and the lantana. I'm going to take one of those and put that in this pot. I think a beautiful lantana with those pinks and yellows, in it is going to be really nice right here. So now on to getting things out of this second pot, which, look at that, it just comes out so much easier than the first one. The first one took root all the way down to the bottom. This one did not, and I don't know why I just stumbled, but I did. Ignore it. And I'm going to be removing the lantana from that one and planting them here along this outer edge of this bed. I'm noticing some seedlings from the vinca that I planted last season growing, so wherever I plant, we may lose a few of those little seedlings, but the rest I'm going to leave there until they grow up big enough, and then I'll transplant them to other parts of the garden. But lantana along this outer edge here is going to be very beautiful. And I've had lantana here before, and I just love the way it looks in this area, and I think it will look really good up against the shrubs that are here. So we're almost done. All right, guys, so I have finished what I want to do for today. It is in the middle of the day. The sun is high. It's in the 80s. I'm sweating, and I'm just through for the day. I want some lunch and an ice cold drink. But before we do that, I'm going to show you what I did in the vegetable garden. I'm going to show you where I put the lantana from the pots. And then I'm going to show you what I did with the pots back here so far. And, yeah, that's going to be it for today after that. So let's head to the vegetable garden first and then work our way to the pots at the entrance. So guys, I walked right past the pots, but I backed up so we could start here so you can see that they are, for the most part, empty. I've got a grass just dropped in there. But this pot really took root all of the way to the bottom. This one did not. So we'll work on those on another day. But over here, I prepped the soil, put nutrients into the soil, and I've got the blueberry planted there. Here, I've got the cucumbers, as you can see. And I've got the tags out front as well, of course. And then I'm noticing what's just stopped me for a minute is the tags for my okra. Where did they go? I'll have to look for my tag. But I got this soil back here prepped, and I got the blueberry bush here in the ground. So they are all planted and ready. I need to water everything, and I'm going to do the sprinklers today because I'm really tired and hot. But from the lantana from the pots, I planted those here. There's 4 of them that are showing growth. So lantanas tend to spread pretty good, so I gave them some room. As you can see from how this lantana there has grown. So, and I got that lime tree up, and a couple of the branches got pulled off at the same time as I was pulling it up, but there's a little ant colony that was at the bottom of the pot and the bottom of the hole. So I'm going to try to leave it like that for a day or two, see if I can get them to go away and go somewhere else. Here's some more grasses that are left. The 2 lantana on there are not growing, so I'm going to dispose of those. This is the first pot with the lime tree in it. I'm going to see how it does. I'm going to give it a little bit of time. If it doesn't do good, I'm going to get another lime tree, find a dwarf one, and we'll pot it there. This is one of the lantanas from the pot that actually has grown the most. These 2 pots on the end here, this one and that one, I put a grass in, and I'm going to put some flowers around it. I was going to put a grass in here and do a display, but I decided to get a fruit tree. We had talked about a mango tree, so I'm going to probably put a fruit tree here and then top that off, and then have it surrounded by 3 pots with flowers. And I haven't done anything in this pot yet, but I did dispose of what was in there. These are the snapdragons I took out of the pots, and I'm too tired to do something with them for right now. So that, my lovelies, is everything that I did today in a very quick summary. As you can see, we've got that up, and we'll talk about what we'll do here later. And one more look where the lantanas are and the emptied out pots, so that now we can put a fresh display in there. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for today. I want to thank you for being in the garden with me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.